In the Dragon Ball franchise, power scaling has been used by fans for years in order to figure out just how strong their favorite fighters are, be they heroes like Goku or villains like Frieza. However, many times it appears that perhaps Toriyama or Toei have kind of flipped the script in that regard and changed up the rules of how this power scaling works. But is this the case for Dragon Ball Super? Well, in this video, we're gonna break that down. Make sure to subscribe to this channel and enable notifications so you could see all of my content right away when it comes out. Alright guys, so today we are breaking down the question of, has Dragon Ball Super kind of reset the power scaling from Dragon Ball Z and even over the course of its own continuity? So to join me is someone who I've talked about this topic a number of times in the past, and his name is...
What's up guys, MJ here, and thank you for having me back on the channel, Mike. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. So we've talked about this a bunch in the past, especially in regards to shows like Dragon Ball GT, for example, where it seems like the power scaling is going in like one direction, where all of the characters are a certain level of strength, and then suddenly come the next arc, it seems like it's pretty different. Now, Dragon Ball Z might have been a little bit more consistent in this regard. So going into Dragon Ball Super from Dragon Ball Z, how do you feel that Dragon Ball Super has continued the legacy, I guess we can say, of power scaling from Z? Do you think it's been consistent with the change in series? Do you think maybe they've changed certain things up? What's your general take on that?
I think it's sort of been, people may, freak out what I'm about to say, but I think it's been consistent to some degree. However, in each arc, there's always either one big problem or a lot of small problems that you can kind of talk about and just scratch your head over. You know what I mean? But I think for the most part, there's been some consistency there. An example is in the BOG arc, we know Goku absorbs the god essence, like the god power, right? And it overall increases his base, and then he goes to train with Whis, and that increases his power as well. And ever since then, we're shown that Goku and his base can handle Buu level characters. You know what I mean? Even in the Tournament of Power, which I know is what you want to talk about later, there is some consistency there, because it is stated, even though it's a bit weird, it is stated that Goku can defeat each Trio de Danger member on his own without transforming. That is mentioned. So there, to some degree, it has been consistent with that, with Goku's base just being overwhelmingly powerful. However, like I mentioned, in one arc or another, there's always one big problem or a lot of small problems that people really, get freaked out over.
Yeah, and I feel like one of those big problems has to be the fact that, at first it appeared that Super Saiyan God was basically absorbed into Goku's base form. Like, somehow his base, I guess, was the power of Super Saiyan God, although I guess you could say maybe, that he acquired that level of power in his base after training with Whis, and that it was more just in his Super Saiyan before that point. But, throughout the course of like Dragon Ball Z, after like the Frieza saga, it seems like the boosts weren't really that major. And while, Goku receiving the power of Super Saiyan God is a gigantic boost, of course, suddenly Vegeta training with Whis can like get up to that level of power, if not surpass it, within like 6 months of just training,
Yeah.
And it seemed like they were getting kind of close to like either their limits or their, increases in power were gradually getting, lessened to where they were even seeking out like further transformations like Super Saiyan 3 instead of just powering up their base in Super Saiyan. So do you think maybe in like regards to the level of power that they've increased to, it might be a little bit inconsistent? Because, I can understand like Super Saiyan God being way above Gotenks and I guess even Vegito, but like suddenly Vegeta in his base form without ever doing the God ritual can, be able to like one-shot Gotenks in his base. I mean, that's still a huge leap.
Yeah, that is a huge leap. However, though, I'm gonna get into some of the other characters in a second, but with Goku and Vegeta, I always just excused it for two reasons. One, Goku used the ritual and he became super powerful with the god form, and then went on to train. And then with Vegeta, I understand your point there, because it took him about 6+ months to get to that level, and and that helps with Whis. And in Z, you know, it would take them years just to, you know, get stronger. I mean, it took Goku, Vegeta, Trunks, and them, you know, months to ascend, you know, just to like the great forms, you know what I mean? Whereas here, Vegeta gets super powerful. However, though, again, I always excused it for Whis. We don't know what training they really did, and even though it's kind of implied that, you know, Vegeta's just been doing, I guess, house chores and doing some weight training. I mean, again, it's like, did they really? Could they have been hiding something? Like, who knows how he really got that much stronger? I mean, you've talked about the idea that maybe, just maybe, they use Zenkais as a way to make him stronger. Again,
like the Beerus sneeze.
The Beerus sneeze, and just, like, if that was happening to him, like, once a week or every day for 6 months, where Beerus really killed the dude, or almost killed him, and, like, in his sleep, and then Whis, you know, healed him, I can definitely see that being a possibility, but I've always just excused it because he was with Whis. However, though, there's other characters that I want to talk about that are like that. An example is Piccolo. Piccolo has always been like Goku and Vegeta, where he gradually got stronger. However, there are moments in the series where Piccolo's power spikes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It happened, you know, from the Saiyan arc to the Namek arc, and then it happened during a 3-year gap. However, over the 7 years, from the Cell games to the Majin Buu arc, it didn't really seem to increase that much. He did get stronger. I'm pretty sure he did. A lot of people believe he didn't, but I'm under the impression he did. But I don't think he got that much powerful. The dude was still weaker than Super Saiyan 2s. Like, he was astonished by a Super Saiyan 2 Gohan's power still. So I still believe he was weaker than a Super Saiyan 2 tier character, also Cell, etc. So there's that. But now in Super, he's like choking out Super Saiyan 2 adult Gohan, and he's like, he makes or helps Gohan achieve mystic power. Then all of a sudden he's like, the real training begins now. It's like, how is this guy even training with a mystic level character? It's like, so on and so forth. So there are other characters too. Gohan, yeah, I guess it's a big jump. It really is a big jump for him to get that powerful. However, there's also that theory that I've seen fans throw around that we never actually seen like a mystic Gohan train before. So there's that theory. And then there's also the whole Gohan has a lot of potential. So I guess Gohan in his own way has a little excuse as well, but it's still a real big jump.
Well, I feel like maybe for the most part, the superpower scaling isn't too inconsistent up until the end of the Universe 6 arc. Although, when it came to Universe 6 in that tournament, we did think that Super Saiyan Blue was basically just going to be their form of Super Saiyan. So when Goku whips out his regular Super Saiyan, everyone's just confused, like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah.
Which might have just been a last-second change, which is another kind of reset here. But then if you look at, say, you know, the next arc, the Future Trunks arc, I feel like that's where a lot of the power scaling really starts to kind of go insane and fall apart. Like, for example, Trunks shows up, and we're just talking about the anime at this point, but Trunks shows up, and suddenly his Super Saiyan 2 is, like, relatively on par, and maybe even arguably stronger than Goku's Super Saiyan 2, which is like, Goku's Super Saiyan 2 is Goku after he absorbed the power of Super Saiyan God into his base in Super Saiyan times at least 2, you know? So how the hell did Trunks get so strong where he could fight him? And then suddenly Trunks is able to go from getting like owned by Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta to being able to going for blows basically with a Super Saiyan Rose Goku Black, who in his base form was completely destroying Trunks as a Super Saiyan 2 before that. So like, you know, maybe it's just because Trunks was written so poorly or just so brokenly in that arc, but it seems like everything's just going all over the place.
Yeah, I definitely see your point here. I'm not going to get into the actual scaling because I'm sure that would piss off a lot of people, but just going into the scaling itself, like just to touch it a bit, just to graze the surface there, it's weird because Trunks shows up. You know, Trunks was supposedly able to beat Deborah in his Super Saiyan 2 form. We, I guess, assume he got Zenkais or whatever during his battles with Black. He shows up, and then when he's fighting Goku, now whether Goku was a suppressed or not, I'm not going to get into any of that shit. The fact here is that when Trunks is fighting Goku, Beerus recites the line, and as I say, and as I quote, wow, he's pretty impressive. This is the motherfucker who beat up Super Saiyan 3 Goku. This is a guy who didn't think twice when a Mystic Gohan charged him. This is the guy that defused a Gotenks. It's like, how in the world is Trunks that powerful? Like, how in the world did he impress a god god of a destruction. You know what I mean? Like, again, I'm not going to get into the whole suppress stuff, who's actually more powerful, but the fact alone that he can suppress even the gods, that's insane. And then, of course, like you mentioned, he goes on to beat trouble for Rose Black, which is hilarious because Base Black was beating the crap out of him. So much so that Black was like laughing at his punches, that he was like, hit me more, you know, like he was one of those people who loves pain, you know what I mean? And here it's like he's able to tank an attack from him. Like, people want to say, no, he's about Zamasu level. He's weaker than Zamasu. No, right? Guys, he literally took the same attack that Rose Black charged up for a blue level character. In fact, Goku looked more fucked up than he did. Goku was like, are you okay, Trunks? And Trunks was like, yes, Goku-san, you know? So it's like...
And there's so many times during those fights where it literally makes no sense for characters to be holding back, but it seems like they're holding back significantly, and then Trunks can still seemingly surpass Goku and Vegeta and literally go blow for blow with fucking Merge Zamasu before he even, like, gets the energy of the Spirit Bomb or the energy absorbed with, Goku and Vegeta. So it's, not to mention that there's also issues with inconsistencies in how the Super Saiyan Blue form works, which we'll definitely get into in the next arc too, in which basically in the previous arc in the anime, Goku tells Hit, oh, I can't transform into that right now because it'll take up a lot of energy with regards to him going from his base to Super Saiyan Blue, and he says, I'm trying to figure out your strategy first. And of course in the manga, this is also a much bigger deal that's made, even bigger deal out of because Vegeta goes into the form twice and then is at less than 10% of his overall power. However, come the Goku Black arc, Vegeta and Goku are just going in and out of the form constantly without like using Sensu beans, without getting healed by Dende or Supreme Kai or whatever, like they're just whipping that form out constantly, and suddenly it doesn't seem to have any draining stamina effects whatsoever. And then come to find out in the next arc, suddenly it has the stamina draining issues again in the Tournament of Power, but suddenly it's not transforming into the form, it's literally being in the form for a period of time. So, when it comes to that, it seems like they're also flipping how Super Saiyan Blue works once again.
I also forgot that Rose Black was also going into that form a pretty good amount of times too.
Oh, yeah.
I never really ever mentioned if he had full control of it or if it's because he was stronger,
I mean, they try and call his form Super Saiyan, but it's clearly like his own version of Super Saiyan Blue. It has the same aura, except it's a different color. I'm not going to get into the multiplier right now.
Not only that, but Toriyama had notes too to Toritaro of them having another form beyond just a regular Super Saiyan form. I believe the actual statement was he has Super Saiyan and another Super Saiyan form or something like that. I don't know why he would just be giving out certain info to Toyotaro. I'm assuming that was given to Toei as well. It's just Toei decided not to use it. They probably thought it wasn't necessary, but
that whole situation is weird. Like, at least in the manga, Goku Black has Super Saiyan before he goes Rose, but like in the anime, it's almost like Toei's saying, yeah, he doesn't need any transformations except for this one. He has literally all the power he would have as like a Super Saiyan 3 or whatever in just his base form, and then he like gains this godly form, even though they call it Super Saiyan. So obviously that's all matters of inconsistent, but the Tournament of Power I feel like is definitely, where it seems like they kind of flipped it, especially during that build up, because like you said before, Piccolo and Gohan like training together can go from basically being weaker than Goku's base form to where Gohan can freaking charge at Goku as a Super Saiyan Blue, block shots, and deal damage. But here's one of the even weirder parts than that. How about the fact that Piccolo was able to choke out Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, alright, and then suddenly he's weaker than Mystic Gohan, I guess. But then he trains up with Mystic Gohan, and at his full power after charging that gigantic explosion, he could barely even beat like base Goku. Goku in his base form is like, oh, I barely survived that, or I barely withstood that. It's just like, really? So Piccolo isn't even base Goku level after all that, and Gohan could fight Super Saiyan Blue Goku? Like, what the hell?
So Shio that's the writer for Dragon Ball, he did put out a statement where he kind of put 17 and Gohan like being relative to each other, and we know 17 is at least some percentage of blue, and Gohan, I guess that means Gohan's touching that blue area as well, plus he even did tank hits from Super Saiyan Blue Goku. We don't know if Goku was holding back or not. I'm not going to get into any of that. But we know he was able to tank hits. So yeah, it's like Gohan got that powerful, but Piccolo like just stayed hundreds of times below him. It's just
I don't get it. Piccolo got like over 100 times stronger training with Super Saiyan Goku, and suddenly he's weaker than his base again. You know, even though in the Universe 6 arc, it almost seemed like he was stronger than Goku's base, considering how he was keeping up with Frost. So I don't
It's
get
funny,
what
though, because
there.
with Piccolo, we did a video, right? The Trio to Dangers. It's on your channel, how strong they are. We potentially put Lavender at least stronger than Fat Majin Buu and up. We actually scaled him higher than that, but a low ball would be like Fat Majin Buu level because he was confident and able to tag, Fat Majin Buu. People really forget that. They're like, well, he had poison. Well, he still needed to hit the dude to put the poison
like
on.
Poison would work on Buu.
Yeah, so yeah, there you go. It's just like he had to at least think to himself after watching that fight, oh, I think I'm fast enough to hit these characters. You know what I mean? He had to at least think that to himself. So we put him at least Fat Buu level. Yet base Gohan is able to go at it with him, and then you have Piccolo attacking that same Gohan, but who's 100 times stronger. It's like, when did Piccolo all of a sudden just become 100 times stronger than Fat Buu? It's just like
I really don't know. Not to mention, before he's training with Piccolo, they made Gohan seem like he was still super strong, even though he wasn't in his ultimate form. But then come the episode where he starts training with Piccolo, Goku is like, oh, he's not as strong as he used to be. And then Piccolo is making it seem like he's weaker than he was in the Buu saga. So it's just Gohan in a filler scene, I guess we could say, as a Super Saiyan or Super Saiyan 2 was sparring with Super Saiyan or Super Saiyan 2 Goku. All right. So are we supposed to pretend that didn't happen? And then suddenly we accept in this arc that all of his training and stuff never happened before this. And now he's weak and now he has to get millions of times stronger in 10 minutes with training with Piccolo or whatever it was. I don't even get the training in Ultimate thing because, when you're Ultimate, you're supposed to be at your full power, all your potential drawn out. So how do you get stronger than your maximum potential? And then let's talk about perhaps the biggest change and one of the most interesting changes I feel in the Tournament of Power, and that is that Goku has the Super Saiyan God form again, which was never again used after his fight with Beerus in the anime, but was used in the manga. So that seems to completely throw everything out of whack again too, because why didn't he ever use it up until this point?
I actually have a video coming out on my channel talking about the timeline of Super, and basically at points in the arc and different arcs leading up to now to where Goku could have used it, kind of like a would have made sense and would it not have made sense type of thing, So I have that coming out soon. Make sure to be on the lookout for that, guys. But yeah, I get your point. It's a bit weird that he pulled it out now. The Alex Gaming Claw on Twitter, he had a theory that the reason why he's using it now is because not only does he have to worry about strong people like Toppo and Jiren, who will potentially keep him in his blue form for a majority of time since they're super powerful, he has to worry about the fodder who have weird ass abilities like that girl who can put you in a dimension and shit. So I guess they're trying to play off the fact that he can't stay in his blue form for the full 48 minutes. That's the whole point. He can't stay in that form for that long. So he's having to fight in either his base, his Super Saiyan form, and then when it came to fighting someone as strong as Dispo, he had to jump into the God form just to kind of keep up with him, and then he had to cycle back and forth because Dispo was still too fast for him in his God form. He had to go into the blue form. So I guess the whole point of him using it there is just to get him to use something, but let's be real, it's merch. But in-universe reason is, I guess, to just get him to a form that's sustainable enough and strong enough to fight against some of the Pride Troopers because he can't be in the blue form for the full 48 minutes. I mean, I can't even remember exactly what difference between the weakness of the manga, of the blue form in the manga is compared to the anime. I think in the manga, it's just transforming into it, right? Takes up your stamina.
But then they changed it again.
Oh, they changed it? I was going to say, because in the anime, he's transformed into the blue form 4 times already in the tournament. So it's there you go.
I think they changed it just to being in the form again. And I think they might have done that in the manga as well. But the thing is too, just the fact that Super Saiyan God exists raises a number of questions about multipliers and Goku's base power, because are they going to try and tell us that Goku's base power is not as strong as, they were trying to say the entire series, and Super Saiyan God is still a gigantic multiplier before Super Saiyan Saiyan Blue? Or are they telling us that Super Saiyan God is like Super Saiyan level, but it's super fast? Or are they telling us it's stronger than Super Saiyan 3 and below Super Saiyan Blue? Like, what are they trying to tell us in terms of how powerful it is? They haven't really gone in depth with it, and I kind of worry that they're not even going to try.
Yeah, they're probably not ever going to go in depth with it. Wiz mentions it's faster than Super Saiyan, but it uses up less stamina than Blue. I find it weird why they didn't use the word stronger, because in Dragon Ball, whether people like it or not, stronger has always been referenced, not just your physical strength and everything and your ki output, but everything, your height, your speed, everything, your senses. When you're stronger, you're just stronger than that person, you know what I mean? That's always been associated with that. So I'm never kind of weird that they use the word faster. I'm trying to think that I don't think it is just faster. It has to be stronger as well. But that means that you got the super exciting guys that put SS at a 50 times multiplier. Then you got Super Saiyan 2 that's 100. Then you got Super Saiyan 3 that's 400. So I'm guessing God is at whatever multiplier it is. And then you have Blue above God. So it's like...
Yeah, but I doubt Goku is literally going tens of thousands of times stronger than Super Saiyan 3 to fight somebody. Like, he's not going to fight Kale at like Super Saiyan 2 and then say, I'm going to use more energy and then make himself like a million times stronger with Super Saiyan Blue, just so that he can, continue to hold back or whatever it is. Like, I know that what we saw from Resurrection F onward is that, there seems to be like a minimum power that he could suppress himself to in Super Saiyan Blue, like when he transforms, like where he's still stronger than like Super Saiyan or whatever. But even that form, like how much he can suppress himself is still like up in the air. But like until Dragon Ball Super just takes an episode where all the characters sit down and literally explain, oh, I'm this many times stronger in this form, I'm this many times stronger in that form, I'm starting to wonder if Toei is just completely ignoring like a lot of the multipliers, like in the super exciting guides and V-Jump and pretty much everything that's previously established, just so that they can write a story that, suits the plot as opposed to like in-universe rules.
Gunner on Twitter thinks that. Shout out to you, Gunner.
I'm very aware of that.
But to go back to the whole God and base stuff, it's weird. I don't know what they're really trying to say. However, they are still trying to tell us that Goku is still powerful in his base, because again, we did a video on the Trio to Dangers. We all put them at like Buu level, if not stronger, yet it's stated by both Beerus and Goku that they could take him out in just base form.
Yet for some reason, Goku and Vegeta use Super Saiyan Blue to fight them and to knock them out of the ring in the anime when they're teaming up, so...
Not only that, but in almost every movie, you have Goku fighting off like 6 guys at the same time, and he's able to not only defeat them, but outmatch them. And here, he's stated to be stronger than each Trio to Danger member, but yet he's having trouble fighting all 3 of them. You know what? Forget the movies, because the movies, I never really want to use the movies because the movies are more centered around timestamps and stuff, you know what I mean? It's not really fair to use that. Let's use the actual series. Frieza. He was fighting off both Krillin, Gohan, and Piccolo at the same damn time, blocking everything, dodging everything, making them look like chumps, you know what I mean? Oh, Raditz. Raditz was making Goku and Piccolo look like chumps. Oh, Goku made Burter and Chase look like chumps. It's just like, when did it become a thing that where you could just gang up on someone and all of a sudden you're just, you can beat them when they're like many times more powerful than you? It's just like, that don't make sense.
That's one of the big changes they definitely made in this arc, where suddenly teamwork helps, even though literally no point in the past has it really made that gigantic of a difference. Like, if we look at the Vegeta's fight, for example, Vegeta was destroying everyone. There was nothing that a team up could do, and the only reason he was able to like get knocked down to being weak enough where like Gohan and Krillin and people could actually fight him is because Yajirobe cut his tail off, and he was already kind of tired from using the energy sphere and fighting Goku with Kaioken. And then when we see Frieza, the only reason Frieza's not killing every single one of them and blowing up the planet within a split second is just because he's screwing around with them and not trying. So again, it just doesn't really make that much sense. Like, you had all these people at the Cell games who could have easily jumped in and fought Cell at the same time, yet they made it seem like Cell at his full power could just beat every single one of the Z fighters at the exact same time. Yet in the Tournament of Power, a couple people can fight somebody way stronger. Like Krillin and 18 could team up to fight somebody, when in Z, that person could just instantly knock out Krillin and just have 18 fight,
It's not even just this arc either, it's the Future Trunks arc as well. Again, guys, I know we're getting a bit off topic here, but the whole point is that, yeah, Super's been a big, inconsistent and consistent at some points in the arc. It's consistent when it wants to be, it's inconsistent when it is. But I would say the Future Trunks arc, it's also mentioned that Merged Zamasu, a suppressed Merged Zamasu, is beyond anything Vegeta has ever sensed. Like, he's like, a suppressed Merged Zamasu is literally beyond anything the Kaioshins and Vegeta and Goku have sensed. Yet somehow, just because Goku and Vegeta decide to work together, they're able to break through all his defenses. Plus, once they get to him, like, he just cracks their fists and stuff. Yeah, he was suppressed, but that's not the fucking point. He was suppressed when the fight started. You know what I mean? People like to bring up, well, he's suppressed. What? It just doesn't make sense, the whole suppressed stuff. Like, it's just like, yes, I understand he was suppressed the whole fight, but he was suppressed as well when Vegeta told him that he was beyond anything they ever sensed before. Why would he, like, suppress himself, upgrade himself, and then suppress himself back down? It's just like, that don't make sense, it's just...
Like, the whole full power thing, when Goku's doing the Kamehameha clash with Zamasu, is definitely one of the biggest weird parts when it comes to power scaling, because Goku and Vegeta were supposedly weaker than Goku Black, who is just one part of a fusion material with Merged Zamasu. Yet, for some reason, Goku can, like, key clash with Zamasu, even if he's suppressed, and then scream, "This is my full power," use literally all of his power, break his own arms in the process, and fire a blast right through Zamasu's and mess him up worse than anything they possibly did to Goku Black, who is just a part of Zamasu. And using fusion, they should be way, way above anything Rose Black was, and yet Goku and Vegeta, or Vegeta and Trunks, can somehow overpower him. Like, I don't care if he's using 1% of his power. That would still be stronger than Goku Black using what we think is a fusion multiplier, even though that's probably thrown out the window too. And then yet he's able to be overpowered. And then later on, Trunks is able to fight him when he's in his bulked up cell form, And I'm sure that bulked up form was stronger than whatever Goku and Vegeta were fighting earlier on.
Yeah, like I said, it can be consistent when it wants to be, when Toei wants to be. But again, in each arc, there's always a big problem or a lot of small problems, you know what I mean?
All right, guys, so we've kind of talked about this for a while now. Whether or not Super has reset the power scaling, I think in some ways it kind of has. In some ways, it's taking liberties with how the forms work, with how strong characters are relative to one another. Goku doesn't even train for an arc and somehow is stronger than Trunks and Vegeta combined, until Trunks is somehow stronger than both of them combined, whatever. And, it's kind of all over the place at points. So let us know down below in the comments what you think about this, if you think they've reset it, or I guess if you think for some reason it all makes sense. Of course, check out MJxTV down below in the description and in the end card. As I always say, stick around, because there's a lot more to come in the future.
And you better subscribe!
I know how to whisper too.